Welcome everybody to the War and Peace Baseball Podcast, episode 83 for August 22nd. I am joined today by Ray Estrada, Farbode Markazi, and our special guest, JR Hernandez from the Angry Dodgers Fan Podcast. How you doing?
I am doing great. Really glad to be back on here. Ready to do this.
Yeah, we should get right into it. Do you want to give us a little bit of an update on what you got going on there with the formerly Angry Dodgers Fan Podcast, I should say? I'm sure people want to know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. As your listeners may be well aware, you guys have been helping me out on the show, and I've also been doing other things such as selling shirts and just kind of just growing the whole operation and just expanding. So I think now is a good time to kind of just rebrand, because I don't want to get a cease and desist letter from the Los Angeles Dodgers at some point. So, you know, it was all about the timing. Yeah, I kind of knew this day would come, but I think the timing is now. I think now's a good time to just kind of do it. So I will be rebranding to Bleeding Blue Radio, and that's going to start in 2 weeks. I'm taking this week off just to, you know, make sure everything goes well with, you know, transferring the domain and, you know, just all the technical stuff that goes into it, and should be good to go first week of September.
All right, so yeah, you heard it here. Make sure in 2 weeks you check out Bleeding Blue Radio, and also make sure you follow JR on Twitter at JR Hernandez LA, so you can follow everything he's doing there. So yeah, let's go ahead and, you know, jump right into the news for today. I've got to do the news! So we are going to go ahead and start with the man, the myth, the legend himself. Bartolo Colon has finally defeated every current MLB team he needed to do against the Diamondbacks. He did it last week. So, you know, it as amazing of a feat as this sounds, it's actually not super rare. I thought it would be more rare than it is, but it gives us an excuse to talk about Bartolo, so of course we got to talk about him, because he's still pitching in the major leagues. This is the 20th season of his career.
He outlasted Turner Field, man. Turner Field.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, why don't we can go ahead and just rattle off some fun Bartolo Colon facts. You never have too many of those. Of course,
he's fat.
He is fat. The oldest player to hit his first home run at age 42. Man, who could forget the momentous occasion at Petco Park?
Where were you?
Yeah, exactly. And another little fun fact here, which is maybe a little less known. You know, we talked about how he beat every single current team. Well, he has also beaten the Orioles in 7 different uniforms for 7 different teams. That's crazy. One team, 7 teams is way more teams than most players play for.
It's also really cool.
He's beaten the same team in all those uniforms. So, you know, I think with that being said, today would be a good day to have a Bartolo Colon stat game, which we will get to later on, and we'll tell you more about that. But stick around if you want, you know, a little blast from the past with this stat game. So,
good tease.
I know, right? I should do that more often, just, you know, get people to, I gotta lure people in more. But we got plenty of other news to talk about in the meantime. One of the most recent waiver trades that happened, probably the most significant one, would be Curtis Granderson going to the Dodgers. How about that? We got JR on today. We got Dodgers news. It's perfect. It's almost like it was destined to be this way.
Yeah, good timing, man.
Yeah, and, you know, good timing for the Dodgers, too. Granderson has replaced Jock Peterson on the team for now. Jock was demoted to the minor leagues. You know, he's having a rough go at it.
Did you guys,
especially lately. So, yeah, what's up, JR?
Yeah, you guys totally cut out.
Well, we mentioned Jock Peterson, and that's about it. Do you what is your take on Jock being demoted for Granderson?
Okay. Yeah, Jock's definitely been struggling. I'm really surprised that they actually pulled the trigger on sending him down. Sometimes, the Dodgers have shown that they'll have a little faith in their guys, but you're talking about Jock Peterson, a guy who kind of took the league by storm 2 years ago, was in that All-Star game, was in that home run derby, looked like one of the next big stars, and has just completely fallen off this year. Well, not completely, I should say, but he's been very streaky. He had a really rough start. Then he played really well in June and July, but since August 1st, I think he only had like one hit in about 34 at-bats, so it's been really tough. It's been a tough go for him, and you have the emergence of other players on the squad too, guys like Chris Taylor, guys like Cody Bellinger who can play center field. I don't know if they should, but they can. So now you throw Granderson in the mix, and you have guys like Ethier coming back, and Adrian Gonzalez is back, so that might push Cody Bellinger to the outfield from time to time. So, it just there really was no other way, and I hope Jock figures it out because we've seen the talent, we've seen what he can do with the bat. So it'd be nice for him to get back on track. And another thing worth mentioning is, kind of Jock's saving grace here. He doesn't have the flashy batting average, but he's always gotten on base, and he's played really well defensively. But even those numbers are trending downward this year. So when you take that defense, you factor that out, and his value is just kind of diminished. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe he can rebuild some of that value somehow, and the Dodgers can maybe deal him in the off season. I don't know if that's a route they want to go, but it'll be interesting to see what happens long term for Jock. Short term, he'll go to the minor leagues. He'll get it together. He'll be back up September 1st, and he may make the postseason roster. He may not, but from then on, who knows? This guy was supposed to be part of that young core with Seager and Bellinger and Julio Urias, but now it's kind of up in the air. So we'll see. Overall, though, I'm for it because I want Jock to get better, and Curtis Granderson in the few games he's played for us has played really well. So overall, it's positive.
I think the biggest thing that about this whole thing is that what Dave Roberts said, and he said this gives Jock a reset button, because obviously, when you're playing at the level the Dodgers are, playing the major league pitching, you don't have the time to make the adjustments that he needs to make to play well. And he's a guy who has made adjustments in the past. He's consistently, year by year, cutting down his strikeouts, raising his average. Not this year. His average isn't high this year, obviously. But he's cutting down his strikeouts every year. And so he can make the adjustments. We've seen the talent he's had, and he's had pretty good defense, like you said. So for now, though, I don't think it's going to hurt the Dodgers much, and let's hope Jock gets back up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Granderson's a solid veteran option right there. I mean, you're not really missing out on anything. He still hits for some power. He sees a lot of pitches. He knows how to get the job done in the postseason too. So we'll be seeing good things from Granderson, ideally going forward. He's a good guy. Hopefully he succeeds there. So yeah, we will go ahead and talk about another interesting game that happened this past weekend. And that would be the Williamsport Classic, the first ever Williamsport Classic between the Cardinals and the Pirates this year. They played at a brand new stadium in Williamsport. Of course, the Little League World Series is going on right now.
I'll correct you on that. It wasn't a brand new stadium. It's the second oldest minor league stadium.
Okay, well, brand new to the major
stadium
leagues.
To the major leagues.
Yes.
It wasn't like built recently.
Okay. Well, way to shoot that one down. But nonetheless, it was a really cool event. All the kids that were there for the Little League World Series got to attend in the stands. It was just a really cool event. Did you see the first pitch? They had a relay all the way from center field going into home plate. I haven't seen that before. Have you guys seen anything like that? I thought that was really creative. Yeah, they got I think they got one player from each of the Little League teams in there.
Yeah, each of the 16 teams.
Yeah. So
well, it depends on what you talk about it being cool, because we have a guy here, Ray, who just doesn't like kids and doesn't like.
No,
doesn't
I
like
don't
the
like.
kids.
Little
I
League.
don't like the Little League World Series. I'm not gonna.
He hates children. He's
No.
he's a hater. No,
No.
in all honesty, I thought this was one of the coolest things Rob Manfred and MLB has done. I thought the Little League type handshake they had after the game, that was also cool. Bringing young kids to the game and keeping them in the game, this is a great way to do that. I thought it was just a cool moment.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw also that Tommy Pham bought, I think 200. He bought 200 snow cones for all the little leaguers in the stands there. That's some commitment right there. That's no joke. I think that's the most snow cones anybody has ever bought at once. I'm willing to
200
bet.
snow cones. Is that $200? I mean,
I guess. How much can you charge for a snow cone, really? I don't know.
$1.
That's the only acceptable price.
Yeah.
It was the smallest crowd in Major League history. So
Yeah.
so
In Major League history?
It was It was only 2,500 people, and that's how much it set.
In Major League history, though, come on. Like, I
That's
understand.
what I read.
Probably since they kept attendance stats. I don't know how
Okay,
far
that makes more
that goes
sense.
back.
Well, nonetheless, it was a really cool event. The game itself was nothing, particularly special, but one thing that I do want to mention about the Cardinals anyway, who were one of the teams in this game, that nobody seems to want to talk about, is the fact that Paul DeJong...
I'll talk about
it. However you pronounce his name. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Paul DeJong has hit 20 homers in his first 70 games, which...
And he was at what? He hit more home runs than any Cardinal in history other than Albert Pujols in his first 53. He's been just insane, and I think with all the rookies doing well this year, he's kind of just gone unnoticed. And he was called up a little bit later, but he's been done pretty well. And I mean, I was looking into this and I found this random fact, and the man that drafted him, I think you guys remember this name, Chris Correa. We were shitting on him 2 years ago when he hacked the Astros and he started up the Cardinals' voodoo magic that we were talking about a couple years ago. He's in prison. Yeah, he's in prison. He's in prison right now, and the guy he drafted is doing very well for the Cardinals right now.
Wow, that you could consider that to be a great sacrifice. The man sitting behind bars just so his player could succeed. I don't think that's how anybody sees it. So, I think it's really interesting that a guy like Young is doing this, and it's getting really very little attention from, major, MLB news coverage, and especially considering Gary Sanchez had a similar performance last year, and it was probably the most hyped thing in the sports world at the time. All
he's on the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees,
Yeah,
man,
it's
quite a
East
bump.
Coast bias.
East Coast bias versus Missouri.
Yeah, and we're all smart here. We know that Paul DeJong is not going to be, the next Barry Bonds or A-Rod that just hits home runs for days. But we know regression's coming. But let's give him credit where credit's due. That's an impressive accomplishment right there. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I figured we would throw that one in there as well. All right, now we get down to the nitty-gritty here. We're going to talk Red Sox, we're going to talk Yankees.
Just stuff you don't like.
Oh my god.
This is where we talk serious
I'm ready
depression.
to get my hands dirty here. So they had Red Sox Yankees Part 2. They played back-to-back weekend series. This time they were in Fenway Park, and the Red Sox beat the Yankees in that 3-game series again. They won 2-1. And I think, everybody wants to talk about Aaron Judge, and everybody wants to talk about his strikeout streak, which is now tied the number of home runs he has on the season, 37. I am not happy about it, obviously, but I think people are making a way too big of a deal about this. It's the same way that people make big deals about hit streaks, even though they don't really provide any. They don't really tell you much about how the player's actually been doing in that time. Judge's K streak makes him seem like he's been doing a lot worse than he is, and he really isn't. He's not completely fallen off the table. He's striking out way too much, but he's been doing that for a good chunk of the season. This is not a new part to his game. what do you guys think about Aaron Judge's K rate? Do you think he has to make any adjustments? Because if you look at his numbers, I think they're gonna, adjust and still land in a pretty reasonable place. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think he has to make an adjustment. I mean, it's as simple as that. The fact that for 37 straight games you strike out, that is alarming. I'll agree to a point, but like the thing about young hitters, and we see it time and again, the pitchers will adjust to the hitters, and the hitters have to adjust to what the pitchers have figured out about them. They have to, not saying change their whole swing, but they can't keep giving in to what the pitchers have figured out about them. They need to make approach adjustments or whatnot. So, and the thing is, we haven't really seen that from Judge, which is why he's struck out 37 straight games. So he needs to make an adjustment. Otherwise, he'll have a lot of K streaks.
I mean, I'm not saying that he is like he doesn't need to make an adjustment, but just think about where the game has gone. Like, hitters are becoming increasingly more fine with striking out if they're producing and helping out. I'm not saying that striking out 37 straight games is okay, and obviously he hasn't done well. But I agree with Uwe. I think people are making too big a deal on this because this year he's been productive. We know like he's one of the MVP candidates. He's Rookie of the Year candidate. I mean, so I don't have that much of a problem. There's still adjustments to be done though.
Yeah, and he's swinging at everything high in the zone now. I think he's getting more called strikes up there, and he just can't lay off. So hopefully he figures it out. JR, I know we've kind of strayed from the realm of Dodgerland here, but everybody's got an opinion on Aaron Judge. Are you as hype as some other baseball fans out there, or are you kind of waiting for the Aaron Judge hype to die down?
I'm actually a big Aaron Judge guy.
All right,
it's yeah. Though there's a kind of a made-up rivalry between Dodger fans and Yankee fans, even though we haven't seen each other in the World Series since like 1981, I believe. So it's kind of like just the Yankees have a very well-traveled fan base, just like the Dodgers. So you're going to see a lot of Yankee fans out here, and I think they kind of just make a lot of this stuff up. So there's really nothing there as far as a rivalry, I think. So I can look at a guy like Aaron Judge and respect what he's doing, and the whole strikeout thing is just, to me, is baloney. I really don't care about strikeouts. I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be. Aaron Judge, if you ignore the strikeout rate, still been a ridiculously productive player this year. A strikeout is just an out. And sometimes a strikeout is better than, putting a ball in play that ends up in a double play or something. So there's different ways you can look at it. So I think, if you kind of just erase that strikeout taboo and just look at what he's doing, look at what he's done this entire season. Yeah, his pace has kind of slowed down a bit from the first half, but he's still been ridiculously productive, and he's been really fun to watch. I mean, watching him hit the crap out of balls is just it's fun. So I mean, how can you? There's really no reason for me to dislike the guy unless we do end up meeting in the World Series, and in that case, strike out every at bat, please. But people should just chill on the whole strikeout thing. I agree with that statement.
Yeah, well, Aaron Judge or no Aaron Judge, being a Yankee fan right now they're testing times, especially because of our closer situation. Considering we have the best bullpen in all of baseball, you could argue, Aroldis Chapman decided to make things interesting at the back end and get himself kicked out of the closer role by just being really awful the last week and a half or so. Of course, walking way too many batters. That part's not very new, but he's actually getting hit harder than he has previously in his career. And that's a little concerning. I think people are just ready. They're geared up for Chapman, and they're able to do a little more damage. He gave up only his second homer to a lefty in his career last weekend against Devers, and then this past weekend was kicked out of the closer role there, and Dylan Betances has slid in. I think everything's going to neutralize with this bullpen. You know, their numbers still, from a strikeout perspective, look really, really good. It's the best strikeout bullpen in baseball.
Chapman is the 5th best strikeout pitcher in that bullpen, just to give you perspective on how good of strikeout pitchers they are.
Yeah, so I just want to kind of diffuse any stress about this bullpen situation. It's going to be fine, especially going into the playoffs, as long as they keep all those arms fresh. You know, there's always problems with every team. You know, starting rotation, you got to make sure it's good to go. You gotta keep all your guys healthy going into the playoffs. And they're actually trying to make a push at the division still. They're one of the few teams out there that still has a chance at the division. Actually, you look around baseball, there's so many teams that are just completely out of the division hunt, and they're just gunning for that wild card slot. And the Yankees are actually one of the few teams that still is sort of in a division race. So it should be interesting going forward. And we'll see what they can do. They don't have to play the Red Sox next weekend yet. So
Darn.
Yeah, darn it. I'm ready for that every weekend, to be fair. Not if they keep losing, though. I don't know how much I can take of that.
I know national broadcasts love when the Yankees play the Red Sox.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Every single game is on TV for the most part. So.
I guarantee you, if that game wasn't in Williamsport this week, it would have been Yankees Red Sox Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're probably like, I guess we got to do this other one.
Yeah.
Reluctantly. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to our next segment here and give you a quick injury update.
You have your ubulus muscle that connects to the upper dorsimus. It's boring.
Yeah, so we are going to talk injuries because injuries are fun and they're important, especially now we got a little over a month left in the season. We got to make sure all these guys are ready for the playoffs. So the first guy I'll talk about here is Max Scherzer, who was scratched from his last start with the same neck strain issue that he's been dealing with. I'm not sure exactly what their plan is with Scherzer. They're obviously going to take it easy. They're miles ahead of the next team in that division. But, you know, having your horse down in any situation is not ideal. Is there any real worry with Scherzer going forward? Do you think he's going to make a full recovery in a timely manner based on what you've seen, or is there anything that concerns you?
I would say I think he's definitely going to come back. I wouldn't say call it a full recovery. What concerns me about this kind of neck issue, and you consider a guy with his type of kind of violent motion, especially with his head, it could be one of those lingering issues, and it's just one of those comfort things where it could throw his mechanics off because he could come back from his next start and not be quite right, throw more walks and maybe get some more hits. So there is some concern that it could just kind of affect him mechanically, let alone actual like pain. But it is a little bit concerning that he came out of a start and then he was scratched from another start because of the same issue. I think that's a little bit of concern for Nationals fans.
Yeah, you know it's weird. You know, looking at the headline from this last start that he missed, it said that he was dealing with inflammation on the left side of his neck. They actually just call it left neck inflammation, which I find hilarious. You know, how's your left and right neck any different? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna get technical here, but in the other start that he left early from, I don't know if you remember that earlier this month, I think it was at the beginning of August, he left with neck spasms in the right side of his neck. So his whole neck is just screwed up right now. I don't know what it is. He's
and another really concerning thing, what concerned me about that first neck issue when he left the game in Miami, he threw a warm-up pitch and took himself out right away. And you look at Max Scherzer, he's not a guy who's just going to call it quits like that. So that was concerning that he said, yeah, no, shut this down right now. Instead of, you would think he's kind of that bulldog type of him fighting through at least some type of pain. But the fact that he said, threw a pitch, I'm done. I think part of that's probably realizing where they are in the season, being like, I'd rather be shut down now and be ready for the playoffs. I don't know if Scherzer necessarily has that mentality though, because what was the game against, I believe it was Colorado, where they were up a bunch, and Max Scherzer was going 100 miles an hour in the 5th inning. And so I don't think in that moment he's thinking, oh, my neck's kind of tight, I should probably not do it because of the playoffs. No, he's a competitor. He wants to go out there every single day and beat you down. And so that was a little bit concerning that he pulled the plug that quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah, a little bit of a different case here we'll talk about is Yu Darvish with the Dodgers, who I think...
A Dodger injury?
Yeah, initially your thoughts are a Dodger injury, it's probably nothing. He's going to miss 10 days, make his next start. I think they're going with back tightness on this one for Darvish. But, I'm not sure if you noticed anything that concerned you about Darvish, JR. If you want to go ahead and tell us what you think. What have you seen from Darvish that you liked, and if there's anything you're concerned about? Go ahead and lay it on us here.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Darvish has been as advertised. You've seen that first start. He when he joined the team, he looked fantastic, and then the second start, he kind of reverted back a little bit. You started seeing some of the issues that he's had this year. Hasn't necessarily been the Yu Darvish of old, but the upside with Yu Darvish is insane. When he's on, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. As far as the injury goes, I really think they're selling the hell out of that move, that bullpen move that they did that day, because they wanted to buy, who was it? I believe it was
Brandon Morrow.
Yeah, there you go. It was Morrow. Yeah, Brandon Morrow just needed more time to warm up, so they're selling the hell out of it. And you could even tell Yu Darvish had some very bad acting. Like it kind of felt like he was trying to sell it a bit. So I think I'm really not concerned about it. Maybe there was some soreness there, and they are being extra careful, but highly doubt it's anything serious. The Dodgers have they've been notorious for kind of using this new 10-day DL to their advantage, as you guys kind of alluded to there. So MLB,
why not?
and yeah, exactly. Rob Manfred is over there triggered in his office because they're taking advantage. But the Dodgers are just like, yeah, whatever, rules are rules. So they're going to go ahead and use that and get Yu Darvish a little extra rest here and make sure he's good for the playoffs. So definitely not concerned. I haven't seen anything that would make me feel, that would raise my level of concern, and I think Yu Darvish will be fine in the long run.
He's scheduled to start on Sunday.
There you go.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, I did not know about that situation though. You're saying that the Dodgers had Darvish possibly fake an injury to get a relief pitcher warm, like
Exaggerate.
and then sent him to the DL.
Exaggerate, not necessarily fake. Exaggerate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just, I'm staying woke a little bit here, and yeah, that's just what I saw. That's just what I'm seeing. Obviously, it is a little silly.
The Dodgers are winning in so many different levels.
I know they're
Exactly.
the best team by far, and they need to make sure they get their, one of their best relievers warm and give him plenty of time. Like, I'm just baffled. I have no idea what that thought process is. Maybe I should stop thinking about it before I hurt myself.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darvish is fine.
Well, if I do hurt myself, I'll just take a trip to the 10-day. It's no big deal.
There you go. Done.
Yeah. So we'll keep talking pitcher injuries. I guess every one of these injuries that is making big news is they're just all pitchers that I guess for whatever reason are leaving with really minor injuries. John Lester left his last start where he gave up 9 runs and he left after, I think in the second inning, he pulled himself out of the game, or I guess he was going to get pulled anyway, but he is on the DL now with a lat problem, probably just from, having to twist around really fast too many times, but, I'm going to go ahead and say with Lester's start, it really wasn't that bad. He got BABIP to death a lot early in that game, and then it was the big 3-run homer from Votto that really opened things up there. So I'm not concerned about Lester performance-wise, and injury-wise, there's probably not much news there. I think the more interesting thing to look at is just the Cubs pitching situation in general. It's definitely a lot weaker than it was last year. They're without Lester for the time being, and what they got left isn't all that intimidating. Kyle Hendricks hasn't been as good as he was last year, and Jake Arrieta he's been better, but still not quite, the second half Jake Arrieta we're used to at this point. And, John Lackey, who is really running on fumes right now. So,
Old.
Yeah, old. That's one word to use for it. So any thoughts or concerns about Lester here going forward, or about the Cubs in general?
No, I think you hit on the head. Just their starting pitching concerns. Arrieta is not the world beater. Kyle Hendricks isn't what he was last year, and John Lackey is old. And Quintana's been serviceable. I think he's been close to what they wanted, but Quintana, I think we touched on it in one of the fantasy podcasts earlier this year, is not his best year. So I think in terms of the Cubs, it's been an issue all year as their starting pitching.
Yeah, I like the Quintana addition. He hasn't really put it together.
He's a better insurance policy than anything.
I think when it comes playoff time, he's going to be a really, really good big game pitcher. I'm not going to use the World Baseball Classic as, the end all be all, but he was really able to rise to the occasion there. I know it's a different level of competition, but he just looks really dialed in there. I think, just when it gets in the grind of the season, he's a guy that, gets a little careless maybe, just gets into a groove a little too much, and the kind of groove where you leave way too many pitches over the plate. I think we'll see good things from Quintana, especially for the Cubs going forward. So, one more Dodger pitcher, I guess we'll throw in there. That just happened today, right? He left today's start.
I don't know if he left today's start, but
after today's start, he
re-aggravated it.
Yeah.
Yes, Alex Wood is the guy we're talking about, by the way. He is also making a DL stint. Is that right? Or is
possibly. They're saying he might miss a start. It's SC joint inflammation. He did go in the DL earlier this year for that in his shoulder. It sounds like he's been doing a little extra work, so maybe just kind of overworked himself. Just a little joint inflammation. Shouldn't be anything too bad. Another update too that we forgot to put in this. Clayton Kershaw will be making a rehab start at AAA Oklahoma City this Saturday. So he is on his way back in, and he said he threw a 4-inning, 60-pitch simulated game today. He says he's ready to go. So probably 1, maybe 2 rehab starts, AAA, and then he will be back with the team.
They're milking that so much. Good for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good news. I guess Alex Wood is, guaranteed to go on the DL, considering it's the Dodgers and they've got plenty of arms.
And Kershaw's
coming back. I think Robbie Ray is also coming back tomorrow to the big leagues. That's another guy who's returning. Yeah, he's
good.
He's a fierce competitor. And I think he's starting against the Mets, so that's going to be fun. Horrible offense against a freaking strikeout pitcher. Yeah, there you go. And one more injury that we'll talk about that is actually an honest-to-God concerning injury for the team we just mentioned, actually the Mets. Steven Matz has just today admitted that he's been pitching with an injury for most of the season, and he is going to miss the remainder of this season, possibly need to have surgery.
I think he said he will have surgery.
Being completely honest, I think the Angels and the Mets have the same trainer. Or same, pitching,
I think the New Orleans Saints might have the same trainer, too.
Man, this guy's got a lot of jobs.
Gets paid to injure.
Considering he sucks at his job.
Although he just got fired from the Saints, so...
Oh.
Maybe he's good at his job. Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Maybe he's just trying to give more young players a chance to take the field instead of all these boring stars. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a different perspective on that. But yeah, I think what is it being classified as? I think it's a flexor tendon, or is it a nerve?
I think so.
Is it a nerve?
I didn't
issue.
All I saw was inflammation. I didn't see exactly.
He's had issues with both this season. It might be a nerve issue in his elbow that this.
Roto World just says arm injury.
Yeah, I think he's been dealing with multiple things. I think it's a nerve issue in his elbow that he's going to need addressed. Just the cherry on.
Yeah,
top
irritation
for
of the
Mets.
ulnar nerve.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see some news about
Sucks.
the Mets changing up some things up in the higher ups there, but who knows for sure. So yeah, that's gonna do it for our injury section, and that's essentially all the news we have. So now it's time to have a little fun. We're gonna play the world famous stat game, and as I mentioned earlier, this one is Bartolo Colon themed. So what that means is we
Not
are
really.
going. It kind of is.
I mean,
It's the reason I thought to do this. So what we are going to do today is look at stats dating back to 1997, which is the year that Bartolo Colon entered the league. So all of these stats are going to be from 1997 to 2017, 20-year sample size right here. A few qualifiers in there for some of these, like for hitters, I said it's like minimum 1,000 plate appearances, which is a little less than 2 seasons worth. And then for the pitcher stats, I am excluding Bartolo, so do not use him as an answer. He is on some of these, but just don't use his name there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump right in. Everybody ready? Feeling good?
ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do this.
Alrighty. So the first stat is the most stolen bases in all of baseball since 1997.
Ooh. Should I go first?
We can let our guest go first. I think
yeah,
that's
so-
fair.
Yeah. Jared,
Oh,
go
man.
ahead.
We'll be
All
honorable
right.
hosts.
I was gonna give JR some time, man.
All right, 1997.
He'll still be quicker than Rudy, but
1997 to 2017. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go with Juan Pierre.
Okay. Well, that's you got it right off the bat.
oh my god.
You guys need not guess.
Nailed
Juan
it.
Pierre has had the most stolen bases in that time with 614, and that's
I was
over
gonna
100
guess
more than the next guy,
Ichiro.
which is Ichiro. He's the next.
Yeah,
I was gonna guess Ichiro too. My next guy, I think. Oh, who's he gonna say? I can't remember who the next guy was. Either
I was
way,
thinking
Pierre.
Kenny Lofton too. I was between Lofton and Pierre, but I don't know where Kenny Lofton.
I don't think he played quite enough to be. He's 23rd.
I don't think.
here.
I think Kenny Lofton's played recently
wow.
enough.
Yeah.
For the sample size.
So like the rest of those, top 5 or so round out with Jose Reyes, Carl Crawford, Jimmy Rollins, Bobby Abreu.
I was gonna say Reyes.
Rajay Davis is actually the third. He's the third highest active player on this list, I believe, after Ichiro and Jose Reyes. So he's pretty high up there too. Yeah, these are some old names. I'm surprised you dug deep right there and found it right away. I thought this was going to be a little trickier, but I guess
All right.
not.
Well, I mean, he has.
Yeah, I mean, I almost blew it.
Yeah, Juan
I
Pierre
almost
was a
blew
Dodger
it.
for the stretch.
Yeah, I
You know,
almost
I
blew it
wanted
and
to
said
give-
Kenny Lofton.
I wanted to give JR some time, man, and he just and he just gets it right off the bat.
It's like
he didn't
blackjack.
need that time,
Yeah.
bro.
He doesn't even need it. All right. So yeah, the next one here we'll do is the highest BABIP, batting average on balls in play, among hitters with at least 1,000 plate appearances since 1997. So this one is obviously not a cumulative stat, so that's why I added the qualifier. But in all that time, go ahead and give it your best shot here.
Who's going first? Should I go first again?
Yeah,
Should I nail it again?
We'll keep it with you. See if you can get it.
All right. I'm gonna go with Todd Helton.
Todd Helton, is he on this list?
He's not even on the list.
That would be a good guess. I see what you're doing there. No, he's not in the top 30. So
Oh man, yeah.
I'm gonna go with.
Mike Trout.
you're going with Mike Trout. He's actually 4th. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
I'll go with Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, is he in the top 30? He is. He's number 14. So Forbode wins that one with the hometown
1-1.
pick there. Yeah, and the number 1 player on this is actually a Dodger who's still playing. Corey Seager has had the highest
wow.
BABIP
Oh,
Wow.
at 364.
how many plate appearances? He's probably barely qualified for this.
Yeah, 1,292.
Ooh.
And then Miguel Sano is actually right behind him there with just 1,305 plate appearances, and he's at 363 BABIP. That's amazing. I guess it makes sense that the
Maybe
players
should
who
have thought
newer,
for a smaller sample size.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it
that's the
makes
strategy
sense.
there.
That was
because
realizing
it's-
it now
it's
should have
willing-
done a
it's,
smaller sample size.
It's likely
Mike
to
Trout.
neutralize. Except Mike Trout, he's had significantly more than these other guys.
Yeah,
Mike Trout's up to
but he's a small enough
3,910.
sample size, and exceptional enough player to where that
Yeah.
makes
But
sense.
he's Mike Trout.
Exactly.
Yeah, Paul
Or Mike
Goldschmidt's
Trout,
right after
according to our
him there
doc,
actually
but-
too. I'm looking for the first non-active player on this, and that would be Larry Walker. He's actually,
Oh, wow.
Oh,
he has a
I almost got it.
352. Yeah, you went with the wrong
The
famous
wrong Rocky. Yeah. Yeah.
Chris Johnson. Do you remember that? Remember that season?
Yeah.
where Chris Johnson
Goodness.
won. Did he win the batting
Jesus.
title? I think he did, right? Or did he come
I think
second?
so.
I
think he like
No.
barely qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's up there on this list too. Austin Jackson has a super high one. Julio Franco.
My favorite batting sense of all time.
Yeah, but a lot of active players on this one. So, yeah, and we'll do one more position player stat here, and that would be the most defensive WAR since 1997.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. Let's see if you guys can nail this one.
Now, is
Go
this cumulative WAR or
Yeah,
like
it's
an
cumulative.
average WAR per season?
Oh,
It's cumulative.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Omar Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel, he
Very
is number
nice.
10.
I will go
man.
with Jim Edmonds.
Jim Edmonds. Let's see. He is not above.
Not there?
No, he's not above Vizquel.
Oh, he's not above
Anyway,
his skull.
Let me see. Jim Edmonds.
Oh, I didn't even see the stat while prepping. Okay.
I don't see him in the top 30 actually.
That's surprising.
It is surprising. I'm thoroughly shocked.
I'm trying to think of who. Shit. Has he been in the league that long? I'm just gonna go with Simmons.
Andrelton Simmons is actually 16th on this list. So
Oh, nice.
came up a little bit short there.
Huh.
Wow. He's
But-
been.
Yeah, it is really impressive, all things considered. So
I still
JR
can't get over that
takes,
Jim Edmonds isn't on there.
yeah, not in the top 30, I guess. It is strange. I would have definitely expected to see his name. But alas, it is not. JR gets another point tacked on there, and the top of this list is actually Andrew Jones, which I
was
think
thinking,
makes
Oh.
sense.
Yeah.
You know, the whole Andrew Jones thing is his half season with the Dodgers just really just skewed my perception of him.
Yeah.
So
I don't
like,
even
if it
remember
wasn't
that.
for that season in the with the Dodgers, I would still think very highly of him. But that really just
A
screwed
lot
him up
of
for me.
Dodgers fans forget how great Andrew Jones actually was, but that
He really
one,
was, yeah.
That one half a season, he's a mediocre career player apparently now.
Yeah.
And then the some other names in this top 10. Adrian Beltre is actually second, and then Pudge Rodriguez is third. Yachty is fourth. Scott Rowland is fifth. He's pretty underrated
Yachty.
there.
How did I not get with Yachty? Jeez.
And nothing catchers.
Yeah, catchers. I mean, makes sense though. J.J. Hardy is really high on this list. He's number 6. Placido Polanco is number 7.
Oh, wow.
That's a name. That's a name that really brings back some memories right there.
Yeah.
He was probably the most average player you could think of for the longest time.
In the history of average.
Yeah, and
I remember there was a time where I couldn't tell him and Martin Prado apart.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I was thinking.
and one of our most beloved players on this podcast is also in the top 10. That would be Juan Uribe at number 8.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think a lot of names that make sense, and I guess
And then Jim Edmonds.
Jim
isn't there.
Edmonds, some names that feel like
Wow.
they should be there that aren't there. Who are some other active players that are lower on this list? Russell Martin's actually pretty high up. He's at 13. Chase Utley.
That's actually nuts.
Chase Utley is pretty high here too, 15, ahead of Simmons. Other active players: Dustin Pedroia is 20. Brian McCann's here, a little lower. Yeah, a lot of catchers in this list. Brandon Phillips is actually number 30, so you have that too. All right,
Yeah, I
that
should
was
have thought catcher.
that was a fun one. I liked that one. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to some pitcher stats. If you guys are ready for that. The
Ready.
first one is the most innings pitched since '97.
Excluding Bartolo, right?
Excluding Bartolo,
Bartolo.
I think.
Because that would
Yeah.
just
Well,
boring.
I'll let JR go first again.
Yeah.
Oh man,
But
I think this one's where I probably could have used that extra time, but man, it's lots of names. I am, yeah. Wow, I had no idea where to go. I'm gonna go with Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay is number 10.
Oh, nice.
I will
again.
go with Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson is number 15. So
Oh,
Farbode's
wow.
got to get in the top 10 here to win it.
Top 10?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Roy
If
Halladay's
not,
number
JR
10.
clinches the game.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Jamie Moyer?
Jamie Moyer is number 9. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no way.
So, yeah, Roy Halladay's had 2,749 and a third
Yeah.
innings, and Jamie Moyer had 2,796 and 2/3 innings. So about
Wow.
50 innings, less than 50 innings separating them, actually.
I was just
that last
thinking of
little
who else has
run.
pitched a ton of years.
Yeah, so the top names on this list, number 1 is actually Mark Burley, which, is a name that
Yeah.
would make sense. Bartolo's number 2 here. Long may he reign. CC Sabathia is number 3. That's probably one you should have thought of if I were to have any judgment. And then some other names that maybe not so immediate thoughts. Levon Hernandez is number 4. Tim Hudson, Andy Pettit, Javier Vasquez, John Lackey, who is also active.
Lackey, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys like that. I'm looking for other active players here too. Justin Verlander's 19, Felix is 21, Bronson Arroyo is 23. He pitched this year. That's crazy. I can't even believe that. Zach Greinke's 26, James Shields 29, Irvin Santana 30. So those are some other active players on this list here. So yeah, that's a very, very much a Bartolo type of stat. Another stat that is very Bartolo-y, at least nowadays, is losses. I'm gonna ask you who has the most losses since 1997. And JR, we'll throw it to you.
I gotta go first again. All right.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
I can go first since I'm just trying not to get shut out. Them two are tied.
Oh, that's true.
All right, go for it.
I'll go Mark Burley.
Mark Burley's 4.
Oh wow.
I can force them to tie.
Yeah. So there's really only 2 names because Bartolo is not going to be counted here.
Man, I wish I would have registered that top 5 from the last stat. I feel like that might have helped. I'm gonna go Tim Hudson.
Tim Hudson is number 17.
Oh man, I'm screwed.
I'm gonna go with CC Sabathia.
Nope, he's number 9. So Ray managed
2 to 1.
I'm not shut out.
He didn't get shut out. Man,
Yes.
I feel like we need some sort of tiebreaker, but I can't quite think of something to do. How about
Rock, paper, scissors.
since I didn't actually say the number of innings that is the leader, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to each guess how many innings Bartolo Colon has thrown in his career, and whoever gets closer is gonna win it. How about that?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Sure.
So give it your best guess.
So we're talking career innings, right?
Career innings. The whole,
Oh yeah,
20 years.
sorry.
the whole
that-
body
that-
of
that-
work.
Yeah, that window. I forgot that window was dedicated to Bartolo. I wish I could do the Price is Right thing and just bid $1, but I'm going first, so that's not going to work. I'm going to go with just an even 3,000.
Okay. And Farbode?
Then, so I either have to go more or less, huh? Just to
Basically.
I'll go.
Is this Price
I'll go-
is Right rules? Because you would just go $1
Yeah.
if this Price is Right rules.
If it's Price
I'll
is
go-
Right rules,
Nah,
then
no, you
can't
can go over. I'll let
Okay.
you go over.
I'll go 3,000 in the third.
3,000 and third. Well, you would win that one actually. He has more than
Yeah.
3,000 innings. He has 3,277 and 2/3 innings pitched in his career. That's
Yeah.
second only to Mark Burley in that same stretch, who has 3,283 and a third. So he's gonna pass that in a couple starts here. It'll be a momentous occasion. He passes the great Mark Burley, the innings eater. I like how Mark Burley's just known as the innings eater. But no longer, it will be Bartolo who will be the legendary innings eater. So that is our stat game. So Bartolo, that one was for you. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And that is also going to do it for our podcast today. So, as again, I'd like to thank JR for joining us, of course, and be on the lookout for his new content coming soon from Bleeding Blue Radio with the new name. So we'll have links down below when there are new links, and we'll also link you to his Twitter again. Follow him at JR Hernandez LA to get all the updates from him. So thanks again for joining us. On our end, we'd very much appreciate any feedback you have for us, any ratings and reviews, also appreciated. Go ahead and tweet us at WPB_podcast. And if you'd like to email us, warandpeacebaseball@gmail.com. And one other thing, check out our website because we have some new articles and all our podcasts there, so the link for that is down below. Okay, I think I've plugged everything. Did I miss anything? Let me know. Are we good? I think we're good. Alrighty.
I think we're good.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so we are going to sign out here. As always, Farbode.
Peace.